Welcome to Things I Love. Today we are live from Walt Disney World here at the Magic Kingdom in Orlando. I am your parks pastor. You're going to be hearing that a few times, the Liberty Bell today, getting ready for their voyage right out here in the water. But I am, like I said, Mark Edington, your parks pastor. We are here today live from Walt Disney World, and this is our first ever live show. I am super excited to be here today. I have been in Walt Disney World for a few days now. This is actually good timing because they're about to take off, and you won't hear that for a little bit. But as you know, we've been talking about it for about a week now. Been wanting to get out here and film Galaxy's Edge. Got a lot of great footage for you there. Film Epcot, some of the new stuff that's happening there, Hollywood Studios. And today we are in Magic Kingdom talking about this right here, the Haunted Mansion. And I got a pro tip from my buddy Tony. He said the best place to film is across the water on Tom Sawyer's Island. And so that's what we did today. There's hardly nobody on this island. This is one of the best kept secrets on property here. An easy place to go and hang out and just relax. And you know, this is always a great place to go and relax. But Disney World today, Magic Kingdom today, is really, really slow. It is a great day to be here. I guess the hurricane has kept people away. But look, there were 10-minute lines, 5-minute lines. I used a couple of fast passes that had 30-minute lines, but I got on everything that I wanted to ride, which was most everything in this park, by about noon. By about noon today, and it was just amazing. And so now I'm here on Tom Sawyer's Island, talking to you, just having a great time. And so this is live, and so you never know what's going to happen. Might get the horn from the Liberty Bell. You might get some folks running in here, but right now it's pretty empty here on Tom Sawyer's Island. And so if you are new to Things I Love, so glad that you're with us today. We're really excited that you joined us. And if you want to, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. We have a great time here at Things I Love. I can promise you some positive videos every single Friday. And give us a big thumbs up if you like this video, and then share it with all of your friends so we can spread the love out there all over the place. Well, today, like I said, we're going to be talking about the Haunted Mansion right behind me here. I rode it last night, had a great time. I'm going to be, as soon as we're done with this, I'm going to be headed back across the water and riding it again before I head over to Animal Kingdom this evening. But just been having a great time. I want to share it with you. And that's what we're here about at Things I Love, is just sharing Disney with you, sharing Star Wars with you, and Lego and all kinds of fun stuff. And so let's get right into it. Today, you know, it's Friday the 13th, and it's a full moon, and we've got the Haunted Mansion right behind me. So it just seemed like the perfect day to talk about the Haunted Mansion. And the history of the Haunted Mansion is pretty incredible. It's a 50th anniversary this year of the one in Disneyland. And look, we wouldn't have this one right back here if it weren't for the one in Disneyland. We wouldn't have the one in Disneyland Paris, which is called Phantom Manor. My wife and I are going there in a couple months in November. And then we've got one in Tokyo Disneyland, and we got one in Hong Kong Disneyland. Just, you know, none of those would be there if it weren't for the one in Disneyland. So I want to celebrate its anniversary today by just kind of talking about some of the quirky history there. And if you're new, make sure that you chat with us today. Put your questions, your comments in there, your snide remarks about the Haunted Mansion. We want to talk about it today. And then when this live show is over, it'll go into the regular video uploads on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/thingsIlove or thingsilove.co. You are with us today, so you know where it is. But you can make comments about anything Haunted Mansion later as well. All right, let's get right into it. Like I said, this is the 50th anniversary of the Haunted Mansion. Some crazy history of the original Disneyland attraction, just some crazy history. And I got most of this from a website called Theme Park Tourist. I'm going to put that in the show notes down below, and you can check that out. Just some cool history there. And so let's get into it. The plans for this attraction predate the opening of the park in 1955, actually. But it doesn't open until 14 years later in 1969. You ever had a great idea that didn't come to fruition until many, many, many years later? It's okay. Hang in there. You will get there just like they did here at Walt Disney World. In 1958, the Haunted Mansion appeared on an official Disneyland map for the first time, over a decade before it actually opens. And that's pretty incredible. Can you imagine coming to the parks and getting a map and seeing the Haunted Mansion, and then you head out to find it and you can't find anything? But honestly, that kind of adds to the mystique of it. I'm sure it frustrated a lot of people, but now it kind of adds to the mystique of it all. In 1957, Walt Disney personally assigned the project to Imagineer Ken Anderson to create the mansion. And now, Anderson was a animator and then an Imagineer, great at both. Had Anderson demonstrated slightly less attention to detail, this attraction might have come a little bit quicker. But honestly, I'm glad that he didn't, because that's one of the things that I love about the Haunted Mansion is just all of the detail that's going on in there. The original names for the mansion were the Church. Not sure how I feel about that as a pastor, but I get it, because the other original name was Graveyard. So I get the connection there, Church and Graveyard, and Haunted House. Makes sense. Advertising flyers had begun to be passed out 8 years earlier in 1961, stating its planned opening in 1963. So look, you begin to get flyers. It's on the map early. People are like, "What is going on? What is going on here?" But Disney really did have the structure created by 1963. It was up, but the inside would take over 6 years to be completed. So again, adding to the whole thing is that you could show up, you could see it, but you couldn't go in it. And then add to that, they had a sign on the door that said, "From the Ghost Relations Department, Disneyland." It read, "Notice, all ghosts and restless spirits post-lifetime leases are now available in this haunted mansion." So they're just purposely adding to the story of it all. From its inception, Disney's Imagineers spent a great deal of this time battling over the substance of the attraction. The Shipley Ledecker Building in Baltimore, Maryland, was the odd inspiration for an antebellum New Orleans plantation-style mansion. And some of the style also came from the Winchester Mystery House in San Jose, California. I don't know if you've heard of the Winchester Mystery House, but the Winchester gun, that family house. They had stairwells going to nowhere, and round rooms, and just lots of weird stuff in this huge mansion. And so I could see how that would be, something really cool to use as a vantage point for creating a haunted mansion. Now, at one point, Walt Disney himself performed the role of the ghost host. You know about the ghost host when you're on the haunted mansion attraction, but of course this was never made into the ride. That would be awesome, right? To have Disney himself taking you through the haunted mansion. I think that'd be just incredible. The most intriguing version of the haunted mansion was the Bloodmere Manor. Disney claimed that they moved a century-old Louisiana mansion-style house to Disneyland, only to discover that its supernatural reputation was true. Of course, Disney making all these stories. As the story goes, an unfortunate worker wound up walled in, leaving the doomed project abandoned right in the heart of New Orleans Square. Of course, right? Just abandoned. Originally, Walt Disney wanted it to be a walk-through attraction, like any haunted house that you go to at your local fair or whatever, to be a walk-through attraction. But eventually, we got the Omni Mover that we have now called the Doom Buggy. I love the name for that, the Doom Buggy. Then there was the whole scary versus the funny debate. Obviously they ended up compromising because what we have today is both in one. But Mark Davis, an anchor member of Disney's Nine Old Men, led the charge for funny. He wanted it to be funny, while eventually Disney legend Claude Coates insisted on scary. In the original organ dancing scene, it is said that it was so scary that the overnight cleaning crews at Disney refused to perform their assigned duties in such a creepy workspace. Have you ever been on the Haunted Mansion and it stops somewhere and they have to do some maintenance or something like that and get it going again? Oh, stuck on that scene because I saw all kinds of amazing things that I'd never noticed before. There's a ghost underneath the table there, like his legs sticking out from under the table. All the paintings that are up high. they all kind of changed. So it was cool. It was cool, but I can't imagine it would be that scary that they would refuse to work in that workspace. Disney died in December of 1966, and the void created by his absence left his employees without a single voice to guide them in bringing his vision for the Haunted Mansion to life. So it took another 3 years before it finally opened in 1969, and has become one of the most beloved attractions in all of the parks. All of them. I mean, everybody wants to go to the Haunted Mansion. I can't wait to go to the Phantom Manor in Disneyland Paris. I mean, it'll be different from this Haunted Mansion here, but so cool and excited to do that. And so, look, I want to hear from you. I want to hear your comments. What is it that you love about the Haunted Mansion? What is it that's your favorite part of the Haunted Mansion? What's your history of going to the Haunted Mansion for the first time? I want to hear all of that. And so I'm so glad to be here with you today, live from the Haunted Mansion here in Walt Disney World, Magic Kingdom in Orlando. I hope you're having a great day today, Friday the 13th, and just enjoy. There's a squirrel around me, thinks I've got some food. He's about to hop up in my lap here. So if you hear me screaming, that's probably the Haunted Mansion, but it could be the squirrel that just landed in my lap. Well, look, I got some amazing footage this week from Galaxy's Edge, and I'm excited to be putting some marketplace footage for you out there. Savi's workshop was incredible, and I got some good footage from that. The Droid Depot was a lot of fun, but it was very difficult to film. You know, as I'm building one person and filming, I had to kind of put it down a few times. So we'll see what I can get from footage from there. But it was a great time, had fun there. We'll talk about it in a future show. And just got all kinds of great ideas about some shows. I got some ride footage from some of my favorite rides, attractions from over the years, and just got some good stuff. That squirrel just jumped up on the chair right next to me. I thought I had a panic attack. But it is all good in the neighborhood. So we're having a good time. But yeah, so got some good footage, and I'm excited to share it with you as I get back to Nashville. Look, I want to just give a big shout out and thank you to my family. They sent me on this trip for my birthday. It's kind of weird being here without them. It's a lot weird being there without them, but I was able to accomplish so much for you here at Things I Love, and you're going to be seeing the fruits of that in the future. But tonight, I'm going to go over to Pandora in Animal Kingdom and just have fun there on my last night here, and then head home tomorrow. And so look, if you're new to this channel, we have a great time every single week talking about Disney, talking about Star Wars, and lots of great stuff, and we just have fun. These are things that I love from my childhood all the way up till today. Still love it. And look, if I talk about the things that I love, I believe that it'll help you to kind of talk about the things that you love and get into the things that you love that maybe you thought that you shouldn't, or maybe somebody would think you're weird or whatever. Look, get into what you're into, and look, from me, everything that I do is for the glory of God and my Savior Jesus Christ. And look, He created me. He created Walt Disney. He created all of the Imagineers. He created George Lucas and Star Wars, and so all of that, look, we can make for His glory. And so, look, I'm glad that you're with us today. This has been Mark Edington, your parks pastor. Just a bit about me to help you be more you. Don't forget, subscribe, like this video, and share it with all of your friends. And look, share it with your enemies. We want everybody to know. Spread the love. It's been a good time today. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.